Manouk Akopyan. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to our partners, personal injury attorney Nelson Gavorkian. Hi, everyone. I am joined by Dan 50K Ige, who's getting ready to face Lerone Murphy, UFC 308. Dan, you're going to be on the main card, setting up the co-main and the main event, and another great opportunity for you to get back into title contention. But before we get into this fight, I think we need to really dive into the last fight you're coming off of, because it was one of the most badass moments in UFC history, taking a fight on a few hours' notice against Diego Lopez in the co-main event slot for UFC 303. You know, it didn't go your way, but you even won a round in that fight in a decision defeat. Can you just take us through the decision-making process on why you went out of your way that night to make that fight?
When I got that call, obviously, I was getting a massage. I had plenty missed calls. I've told the story a lot, but the reason I made that decision was just, number one, I was ready. I was feeling good. Um, and number two, it's never been done. I don't think so, at least on that level. And it's not like it was just like a random fight night at the Apex. Like, this was a huge pay-per-view card. It was previously a McGregor card, international fight week, co-main event. It was just too good to be true almost. And I didn't even honestly think it could happen, but it happened. And I have zero regrets. I went out there, did my thing. It didn't go my way on the scorecards, but I wouldn't say I lost the fight. I went out there, I showcased a lot of great skills, and to go and do what I did against the now number 3 guy in the world, if anything, just instills a lot of confidence and self-belief in what I'm capable of.
Just again, one of those times where you end up perhaps winning even when you get a loss, because I think the fans and the entire just industry respects a move like that. Dana White even called you a stud afterward and promised
Yeah.
to deliver anything you wanted for stepping up to the plate. Well, what did it mean to also have Dana's kind of support and kind of for you to saving the fight that way?
It was awesome, man. I mean, that was like the first time probably ever in my career that I felt like true, genuine, like love from Dana. I run into him, you shake his hand, "What's up, boss? What's up, Uncle Dana?" Whatever. He'd be like, "Yeah, kid, how are you, kid?" And then that's it. But there was just a genuine like respect there, and that was something that has to be earned. Not everyone earns Dana's respect, and I had a chance to do that night, and it's gonna go a long way. That'll live forever. And yeah, it was a great night, but here we are.
Absolutely. And you were rewarded. You were rewarded by fighting a guy who's ranked ahead of you, up and coming, undefeated fighter in Lerone Murphy. You guys are sharing the common opponent in Edson Barboza, who you beat via split decision in 2020. What did you make of Murphy's performance against Barboza in his last fight?
Thought he looked great. He put on a great performance. He overcame a little adversity in round one and came back and dominated pretty much round two, three, four, and five. I thought he looked really good. I mean, it's hard to critique him and say like, what could he have done better? The only thing I would have said he could have done better is go out there and finish him. But I mean, I didn't finish the guy, so it's easier said than done. But I do believe he had him hurt a lot of times, and Edson was just basically a punching bag for him. And but he looked great, man. And I'm excited to go out there and test myself against him because I believe I will beat him. I truly believe that, and I believe in my ability. I believe in my team, and this is just my time. We're both practically the same age, so I wouldn't. He's not like this young gun killer coming up, and I'm old and washed up. Like I'm in my prime. He's in his prime, and we're gonna go out there and put on a great show.
Absolutely. I was going to mention that you're both 33 years old, and but you're the one who brings in a ton of experience. And his last fight was his first 5 rounder, something you've done twice. What do you think is the biggest challenge, though, that he will be presenting to you?
He's quick and accurate and lengthy, so for me it's going out and really implementing a pace and fighting him on my pace and my time. And it's a 3 round fight, so you really gotta win those rounds. And I can't go out there and point fight him. I gotta really bring it to him, and I'm sure he's gonna try to do the same, but I don't really think too much about what he's gonna do. I'll be able to make those reads in the moment because I'm so well trained and well prepared, and I have the best teammates, that push me to the highest level every day in training, and I couldn't be more ready. So I'm not overthinking it. I'm just gonna go out there and do it.
He's a technical striker, but his chin really hasn't been tested much, and that's what you love to do. You bring a firefight, you set the pace and the action. Um, is this fight more about you fighting on your terms rather than waiting for him to bring the fight to you?
I think so. I even if you like look at my fight with Diego, he's such an explosive fighter and very fierce and like in round one when he was like I'd like cover up and shell and counter, but those little flurries, I'd lose the flurries because even though I like wasn't really affected and maybe I landed something, it was just like one or two big shots. So I it's just going out there and being greedy and taking chances and taking risks and hoping it pays off big.
And this fight, it's taken place in Abu Dhabi, which curiously, he's fought 4 times already. And you've headlined there once, of course.
Yeah.
Does the familiarity of just fighting in the region or in the area in the time zone, does that play a factor in any way?
There's a couple ways to look at it. It could help, like for myself, I fought at the Apex, I don't know how many times, but it can also get stale. You've done it so many times, it's the same thing. But yeah, at the end of the day, you can put us anywhere on the planet. When you lock us in the octagon, it's the same octagon. And we're gonna go out there and it's gonna be a great night, man. I'm excited this time. I actually get to fight at like a local time. Last time I fought here was 6 a.m. local time when I fought. So just to go out there and man, I'm just excited. I'm counting down the days, the minutes, the hours, and trying to kill time. So here we are.
And you're a few wins away from putting yourself into the title contention. You would obviously be catapulting him in the rankings should you beat him. Who are some of these ideal guys that are on your radar right now for 2025? What would a perfect year look like for you?
Um, I look at a guy like someone like Ortega or yeah, like Ortega makes sense being that he just fought Diego and how, you could do the math and do the paper, like put the matches on paper, I have a lot of respect for him, but I think that fight makes sense. You can run rematches back, the Caters, the Emmets, I had close fights with Emmett, had him hurt in that fight. You could argue, I won 2 rounds in that fight, but I lost that fight on the scorecards. You got a guy like Arnold Allen, who's right up there. There's a lot of there's a few good matchups that after this guy will really put me to where I need to be, right, to fight for a title. But let's get through Lerone Murphy and but I have some guys in mind and we'll see what happens. We got to talk with the big bosses and see how we can do it.
And I need to get your prediction for the fight you're setting up, the division you're fighting in, featherweight, the featherweight champion Ilya Topuria, Max Holloway. What do you make of this fight? What is your prediction?
It's a great fight. But I'm gonna lean with Max, the Hawaiian. I think he goes out there, same like, experience, man. He's still young. People think he's old, but he's just been in the UFC for that long because he got signed at, 20 years old and here he is now. I just think it's his time again, and he's hungry and I think he gets his belt back. He's skilled, his fight IQ is through the roof. And I see Max winning that fight.
Topuria's surprisingly a heavy favorite in this one. Do you think perhaps his stock is being a little bit too too much being put into his stock too soon?
Uh I think it's just like the way he carries himself, his confidence, the way he talks. I don't know who makes the odds, but I mean, man, he's dangerous. He just knocked out Volkanovski. No one really does that, you know. You could argue, oh, well, he just got knocked out, so it was easier. It doesn't matter. He knocked out Volkanovski, who was one of the just last year was pound for pound number one, number two. So Topuria's he's a real threat and a real challenge and a real fighter. So it'll be a great fight. I'll be watching from the back.
Absolutely. And again, you're on the main card, 308 on the pay-per-view portion of the card. You're going to be right before the co-main event, which is Khamzat Chimaev, Robert Whittaker. How about that one? What's your prediction there?
It's an interesting fight. You know, especially being 5 rounds. I've been leaning towards Kamzat lately, but no, I don't know. It's like I always change my mind. Now I'm kind of feeling more Whitaker, but I don't know. I That's a hard one to choose, you know, flip a coin there. So I can't make a I can't make a solid prediction.
If we flip a coin, that's 50-50. 50K is your nickname. Are we getting a 50K bonus in this competitive night of fights?
Yeah, I like to get a few of them, man. I'm gonna, I'm always hunting for the bonus. You know, I want to go out there and put on a great show, but I also want to do something big that'll bless me and my family. So I'm always fighting for the bonus no matter what. And yeah, we'll see what happens.